Hello, welcome back to the PoddiMouths podcast. I am Peyton Cubic, and this is where my dad and his friend John talk about random stuff in life or the things they found on the internet. I hope you enjoy listening to this episode as much as I did. Here they are now.
I know you're not scared. So anyway, the benefit of having that third car now that I picked up yesterday, John and I were already talking. We're like, we should be recording this. So let me just, quick background.
He said, no, forget it. That's not what he said.
I got my car for work yesterday.
Yeah.
And Jen this morning, running a little bit late because Peyton was supposed to go to work with her and Peyton was, not ready to go.
Can you call it a company car?
I can call it.
That's what I was thinking. Car for work is different from what it really is. It's a company car, right?
It's a company. It's my car.
You're right, but you're repping
the company I work.
Yeah, you're repping your company with that vehicle.
Right. It's a little bit different from the other car that I had that I couldn't drive for personal use.
Yes.
This one is technically a personal car.
That's awesome.
Just through my company. It's
love
one of the benefits.
I so love that they do that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Well, especially today. So it's my Jeep now. No, not because we worship the Jeep or anything. It's just that's where the charger is. And right now, half the garage is storage. So the Jeep is crammed in there so I can still charge it.
Just real quickly, is it a 110 or a 220?
It's a 110.
It's a 110. Okay.
Now, we have discussed that if we're keeping the Jeep, Jen even said this. This came out of her mouth. She said, if we keep the Jeep, you need to put in a faster charger. And I'm like, deal. Twist my arm.
Well, but the problem is you're going to have to unhook the dryer. So sorry,
no,
it's a trade-off. Oh, okay.
No.
You have a gas dryer.
No, we have. We already have another.
You don't
210.
dry clothes. Oh, okay.
No, we already have another. Is it 210 or 220?
220. Yeah.
Yeah, we have another 220 in the box that was for the hot tub that we've never installed.
Oh, all right.
So we just have to repurpose that.
Can you like you do when you have two sets of headphones? Can you get like a splitter cable? One's for the truck, one's for the hot tub. Just saying.
So it doesn't really matter.
Well, not yet, but
we'll talk about that though in a second because.
Okay.
Anyway,
thank goodness.
So Jen goes out to the truck this morning.
Yeah.
Tries to turn it over. Nothing. No lights come on. Nothing. Nothing happened. She's like, okay, maybe the battery, the key battery or the key fob battery is dead.
Which happens.
So she goes and grabs my key and goes out. Nothing happened. They were able to finally unlock the door, but nothing happened. And so I'm like, that's not good. But again, I picked up my new car yesterday. So we have 3 cars there. She can't drive that yet because I don't have the paper.
Sure.
Obviously drive the Jeep. So I pulled that car out, put it on the road. She jumped into the Jeep and took off. But here's the rub. The Jeep, the 4xe, can't jump another car because of the way the battery system is set up.
With jumper cables.
Yes, with jumper cables, right.
Yep.
So I probably could, but it's not technically good for the Jeep to do that. I'm not sure.
I'd be scared to mess with it. I really would.
Be scared to mess.
Yeah.
I don't know the systems. It's actually a new system, like a new car. So not just a new car, it's like a new model. It's a model refresh. So I'm not sure how that works either. And instead of trying to research it and find out and do all the work, I'm just going to go to Harbor Freight because who doesn't need an excuse to go to Harbor Freight? I mean, really. And I picked up a little $100 jump block.
Probably the same one I have.
You got it at Harbor Freight. I'm almost sure. And did you see that? The recording just stopped and started again.
Oh.
That's weird. Well, at least it started again.
At least it did. Hey, maybe we're starting all over.
Maybe.
Hey, if you just tuned in.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Hopefully
that was all in there. I'm actually surprised you can actually hear me because my I think we're having some technical issues. It just started over again. All right, John, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go into a different system. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll wait here. It still shows recording. Yeah. So just in case, I'll keep going. How about that? I had some content ready today. Actually, I had it ready 2 weeks ago when we decided to do a classic episode. And I thought, you know what, I can pull off a one-man show and then life got in the way, and that didn't happen. So anyway, but I was talking about my favorite YouTube channels. I thought that would kind of be interesting to compare a little bit. And I'm not going to go through because I have to open up a document and everything. And I don't think Nick's going to be gone that long. But this is a good chance to talk behind his back. But one of my favorites recently has been Sandwiches of History. Barry is the guy who oversees it and or produces, and he's great. He does an awesome job. And if you've seen him, you know what I'm talking about. He has like 60,000 subscribers on YouTube. But it's kind of a culty thing. He does one of these videos, drops a video every day. It's probably, I'm talking on my own because the recording kept going. It really
did?
Quick. Yep, really quick, at least
All
on
right,
my end.
Let
me finish my story. Hold on.
Okay, fine.
And Barry just drops these videos every single day, and it's just kind of fun to watch what happens with the sandwiches that he brings out. So anyway, if you get a chance, check it out, Sandwiches of History on YouTube. So back to you, my friend.
Well, my only fear now is if we didn't get the other part of that recording, might not work.
Might not.
It might not.
So we can,
and I don't know a way to check it.
So why don't we keep going we'll make this a short one, and then we'll put one in the can after this.
Okay, that sounds good. So anyway,
we're smart like that. Yeah.
Or I could just back up and just say really quick. Yeah. One, if it didn't record and I didn't add it in the beginning, if it did record and I'll put it in there, I apologize, and maybe I'll cut this out. Maybe I won't. Probably
it's not your fault.
It's not my, well, of course it's not my, nothing is ever my fault, John.
It's mostly your fault.
It's mostly my fault. Anyway, well, it was my fault for trying something new, and that newness failed. Anyway.
Is what it is.
Quickly, got a new car from my work yesterday, which was Friday. So now we have 3 cars sitting at the house. Jen went to work today, was late because Peyton was running late. Went into the truck, which is what she's driving, tried to start it with her key. Nothing happened. Came in, got my key thinking it might be the key fob. Tried to turn the car on. Nothing happened. So Jeep, she got in the Jeep and took off. Even though the Jeep is it's got 2 batteries and is electric, it's always, they say it's not a good system to jump off of. So that freaked me out a little bit. So because I do have some jumper cables, but now I have the new car, not sure if I'm supposed to be able to do that with it yet. And I was too lazy to research. So I ran to Harbor Freight and got $100 jump box for the truck, which that's the end. That's what you've missed so far. So we're continuing from there, which, John, the other reason I thought to do that is I would not like Jen to be sitting somewhere, and if the truck dies again, not be able to jump it. So this jump box is going to end up in the truck. Yeah. Just in case.
Good idea. And those things are, they work, at least the one I got from Harbor Freight. Hold on. Smiley Bell. If you're new, you haven't seen the Smiley Bell.
I haven't seen the Smiley Bell in a while. I've heard it a few times, but haven't seen it in a while.
He hasn't talked to you recently.
That's true.
But for Harbor Freight, their jump box, the one I got, has a couple of different levels. And one is like a trickle charger, like I use on the Harley. Okay. And which I am moving out to the driveway in a little bit. And I'll tell you why.
No. Is it going to have a for sale sign on it?
It might. And I might have it right here to show you. Okay. Just hypothetically. But allegedly. Also it could do a medium, like a faster charge, and then it can do a jump where you connect it and it should, or at least it gives it all the power to start right away.
So yeah, you and I got a different one because mine is only a jump. It's not a trickle.
Got it.
So I looked up between a trickle charge and a jump, and I researched which one would be better for my normal situations. And they said a trickle charger is actually better for someone who has a bike that doesn't ride it every day and just needs to sit there. But if you don't have anything that sits for months at a time, then just get a jump, because it's faster. It's easier to, exactly. So,
do you anticipate you'll find, this is always the tough part for me when there's a dead battery. Sorry, I have to look at the camera. Who told me that? Who said that again? Fussell. Oh, Mark. Jeez. Well, I forgot that it was him. Dude, your beard looks awesome. Anyway.
Mine does?
No. Oh. Mark's.
It does look. He has a prodigious beard.
He always has had a prodigious beard. It's amazing.
Not always. Yeah. I've seen pictures with him without a beard.
I actually saw him shave it, but then he came back to work the next day with a full beard again.
Yeah.
And so...
and it wasn't the kind that connect to your glasses.
No, it was not. No, in fact, he took his glasses off because I didn't believe him. No, that's not true. So I'm looking at the camera as I'm trying to tell the rest of it. But I forgot where I was now.
You were talking about trickle charging.
Yeah.
And Harbor Freight and
holy crap, you forgot where I was too.
Beard and not looking into the camera.
Before the beard.
We were talking about trickle charges. And you said, aren't you afraid of?
Oh gosh. I don't know.
It happens when you age. Not so gracefully.
Shut up. This is very graceful aging. No,
it's because you're not drinking coffee out of a cup from Montana or from Colorado.
I do like that cup. I will tell you that.
I do too.
What does it say? Nice. Colorado cup.
It says, for those of you who aren't watching, it says nothing but trees and the sunshine. And it's a picture. It's a drawn picture of mountains with trees and the moon. Drawn. And it's a blue starry cup.
It is a very nice cup. And it actually looks like a campfire type.
It does. It feels like
right?
it, but it's not a metal cup. It's a ceramic. So I wouldn't take this camping with me, but
no, I definitely would not do that. No, avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, I have camp cups that are metal cups that look very similar to this, but
yeah. That blue fleck on the outside.
Yeah, well, mine are green fleck, but yes, yeah.
Those are you know what? They sell those to the people who aren't real campers.
Yeah, I know. The Stanley knockoffs. Actually, I have some very nice Yetis that I take when we go camping.
Yeah, I'm not. You know what? For as not cheap as they are, sorry, Yeti. They're okay.
I never said I paid for them.
Oh, sorry. Well, I guess
very few of those cups do I have. Very few cups have I actually ever paid for. I didn't even pay for this one.
When you're not afraid of getting pulled over by the cops, you do that. You just grab Yetis and walk out.
Yeah. Not quite what I meant, but okay.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know if that's what you
John,
meant.
John, you've worked in the car business long enough. You know you rarely ever have to buy the things you want.
I got, we had back in the day at a Cadillac store, we had a company that would come in and do gold packages, which was, I can't think of the name of it right now, doesn't matter. But they would take our emblems, for example, and coat them in gold.
Wow,
it's like electrolysis.
I know what you mean.
Something, but I can't think of the name of it.
I like electrolysis.
Electrolysis, and you can then never have to shave your legs again.
Yeah, or your face. Since I was going with the beard thing, but okay,
no, with your legs. Anyway, but they would get a lot of business from us because we had a lot of people who wanted the gold package on their Cadillacs. And at Christmas time, they gave me, back in the day when pens were such a huge deal, a nice Mont Blanc pen.
Oh, nice.
That was, they were $200-300. I was like, that is a perfect gift for somebody back then in the car business who is using it to sign.
I've seen some dealers from the manufacturer, because they've done such a good job, walk away with Rolexes.
Rolexes, yes, often.
It's amazing. I've never gotten a Rolex from work. I'm just putting that out in the ether. Not that I would ever. I would be one of those people that would look at the Rolex and go, "Oh, that's beautiful. That looks great on my arm. Okay, let's take it to the next dealer and see how much I can get for it."
We have mutual friends that are watch horses, I guess they would be called. Yeah. And not me, of course, I have a Harley Davidson in the garage. Maybe
sure. We all have our things.
I'll choose that instead
I have a
of
Jeep
the thing
in the garage, so
we're on my wrist. Yeah, I have both.
Yep.
Jeez. Yeah, so that's holy cats. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And some of those Rolexes are more expensive than the Jeep and the Harley put together.
Probably not many, but some. Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
That's
but everyone, like you said, everyone kind of has their own thing, and
for sure.
I actually, I have a watch. It's my Apple Watch, a Generation 1 Apple Watch
Ooh.
that I didn't pay for.
Again, walking out of the Apple store. Okay, see ya.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Now, I will say I've had to pay for it to be repaired. That wasn't happening
Oh,
pretty,
gosh.
but I didn't pay for it initially. And I will say I will. I have a plan. When we get to a certain point in our existence, my wife and I, mainly when we buy the new house,
Mm-hmm.
I will go out because this thing is not. This isn't. I wouldn't say it's on its last legs, but this is so limited on what it can do now that it's really just. It's a digital. It's what are they? Not a digital watch. Is that what they called them? A digital watch?
Sure.
Back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s, you could either have a one with I can't remember what it is. We're just going to call it a digital watch.
Digital watch.
That's basically all this is now.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get text messages on it, but I can't respond. I can't do anything. So it notifies me, but I still have to go to my phone.
It's almost like an Apple product with planned obsolescence.
I know, but it also is almost 10 years. It is 10 years old. This thing is 10 years old, and it still operates. It still works all day. The battery still lasts all day long. But I am planning on getting a new one, and I will actually pay for that one. But
I have gone through so many fitness watches.
Yeah.
And that's what they were before, Apple.
Yep.
And I've got an Android watch too. But I went through like 3 or 4, and they just stopped working out of the thing. I'd send them in, and they'd send me another one. And okay, well, now I'm like number 3 or 4 into them. And finally I got the Android, and I use it occasionally, but then I take it off when I'm playing golf.
Well, that doesn't work.
And leave it in the bag.
Yeah.
And that's where it is right now. Correct.
Yeah. I have actually, which is why I'm willing to actually spend money, is I have gotten to a point where I wear this every day.
Oh, okay.
So it's and I love watches. I never spent a lot of money on them. I think this would probably be, just getting this repaired is probably the most I've ever spent on a watch.
Wow.
And I do have a drawer full of watches, but I don't think any watch in there is more than $50.
Yeah.
And even that's high for me.
I used to wear them a lot, and I used to have some nice ones. I had a Movado, and I had a really nice Seiko, the really thin, slim ones. And so I used to, but I wore them all the time. And when you get out of the habit, and I think phones have done that a little bit.
Yes.
You get out of the habit of wearing one, here's my empty wrist,
Which is really funny because I rarely use this to tell time.
Yeah.
I use it for messaging. So
Okay.
I don't have to, I don't necessarily or shouldn't have to have my phone on me all the time.
Yep.
So, for example, when I'm at work, I could leave my phone on my desk and walk around the office. And if someone texts me or calls me, I can get it on the watch.
Mm-hmm.
It just means I got it right now. It just means I have to go back to my desk to get the phone to do anything.
Yep.
But the newer ones don't have that issue. But it's funny because Jen has an Apple Watch and she has a brand new one.
Mm-hmm.
She never wears it.
Really?
Yeah. And no, I'm not going to take hers because it's a smaller one, and I want the bigger one.
You could pull it off. You could pull it off.
I do have small wrists.
We've all said that behind your back.
I know, and in front of my face. So.
I don't think I've ever said that in front of your face.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right.
So back to the battery charging, because that's what we were actually talking about.
Yes, battery charging.
I don't know. So I went out and bought the little block. It's charging in the kitchen right now, and I'll go out and charge. Now, the interesting thing is we couldn't figure out what was wrong with the truck. Like
that's
still
what I
could
was
have
going to
been.
say.
Still
What
could
was
have been
left on? What was left on? Because that's usually what it is. Yeah,
I haven't jumped it yet.
It's was the glove box open? Was the reading light on? there are like 5 or 6 of those things that you got to check because, you can charge it up again. Hey, it started, and then you shut it off, and tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
Same thing, because it drains the battery.
So nothing I could see initially was on. I did turn off the auto headlights, but the reason I did that was so nothing happened. Nothing was happening with the truck. But when I got back from Harbor Freight, the headlights were they were flashing, but they were doing a quick flash. So I looked that up to see what it was, and lo and behold, it says when the headlights are flashing like that, you have a dead battery. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock.
Hey,
how do I shut this off so no one thinks that the car's being stolen?
You know when else they do that? They actually signify that in 2 different ways. One is with the flashes, and one is nothing.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. But at least it's the truck telling me, "Hey, my battery's dead. Help me." Help me.
You know what else tells you that? When you can't start it.
Same thing.
Thanks for telling me that, truck.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to actually playing with this new toy because it is a new toy, and it, they're the little things in life where like, oh, I should really get one of those because it would be a really good idea, but you never do because when is the battery really ever going to die?
When I can't start my riding lawn tractor, which was and this is the weird time of the year down here. It doesn't rain much, and so our lawn looks like absolute nasty
trash
lawn.
Panda.
Yeah, trash panda. And weeds will grow sparsely in some places. The lawn looks like crap, and the good part is I don't have to mow it. And when during the rainy season or middle of early part of summer, you got to mow it at least once a week, if not more often. So I'm just enjoying this time of not mowing it. And I'll use the trimmer if there are some weeds that get out of control. Fine. Then
sure.
I'm good to go. So the lawn tractor, after, no kidding, 3 months without mowing the lawn,
is dead. The battery.
3 months, totally dead.
That's hilarious.
So that's what caused me to get it. And got the charger and blah, blah, blah. So
nice. Well, didn't you have a trickle charger though for the
I had a trickle charger
bike?
For the bike, but it has a different connector. So it didn't have the battery clips.
Go figure.
Yeah, I know. Go figure. And then there's more to that story too, because I had to buy a new trickle charger for the bike after I bought the other one because it has the right connector.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Something.
It's so much
always
fun.
Something.
I noticed you probably saw me put my head down because my dad actually texted me. Texted me this morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually sent my dad and my stepmom something from Instagram because it is today, which is Saturday, folks, not Tuesday, but Saturday. Today is National North Dakota Day.
Is it?
It is. Yeah, because that's, folks, if you didn't know that, that's where my dad lives. So it's National North Dakota Day. He responds with, thanks. It's also National Garlic Day. Vampires beware.
Nice.
Merry Easter. Yep.
Wow. Your dad he's like your dad.
He is, but he's much cooler.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah. I have the perfect mix between my dad and my mom. My dad is very even-keeled, very, quick-witted, but done in a very calm and sarcastic way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're just like,
weird.
That one's a zinger. And
gosh, that's
but you
odd.
Wouldn't. Yeah, it is very odd.
Yeah.
And then my mom was very, very not hyperactive, but very, very talkative.
Excitable.
Excitable? Not even excitable. I don't even know how to describe her because, again, very smart, very quick-witted, but always the center of attention. And instead of being that very dry, very, very like not in your face, but very like you can see something's happening and something's coming, and then she'll just smack you with it. So, I'm somewhere. You know
when to duck.
Exactly. I'm somewhere in between those two. So I'm still. Most people not in funny versions or not when I'm on the podcast, especially not when I'm on the podcast, would say that I'm one of the quietest people in the room. I'm the kind of person that sits in the back and just listens, and then I'll speak up if it's needed. But most of the time I'm just absorbing everything, which is very much my dad. But other times, like the podcast, where I pretty much talk over everybody and talk most of the time, that's very much like my mom.
So if you're absorbing like that, so your dad does the same, would that make you absorbing junior?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Not quite. He's like super absorbent. I'm just the regular.
Super absorbent. Absorbing junior was like a sore muscle thing.
Oh, really? I've never heard of it.
Oh, come on. Okay, our older listeners will know, but you did a good job getting into the toilet to the paper towel realm. That was very well done.
Thank you. Well,
very absorbent.
Usually I'm very in the toilet anyways for multiple reasons.
I didn't want to say that.
I know. So speaking of in the toilet and more Instagram, you should ding that one because that one's
Instagram. Yeah.
Matt Smolik sent me a retro vibes Instagram.
Okay.
And it's adult beverages only Gen X had and today's kids will never experience.
Oh boy.
MD 2020. Never heard of it.
Mad Dog. Oh my gosh.
Purple Passion.
I
Never heard of
didn't
it.
have Purple
Red
Passion.
Dog Beer.
Okay. I think I've seen that.
Alizé.
No idea.
Alizé. It's in a lot of music. Goldschlager.
Yeah.
I've had Goldschlager.
Yeah.
Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light.
Goldschlager has had you. That's more like it. Okay.
Aftershock Blue. Colt 45 and Old English 800.
Zima.
Boone's Farm. Zima's on here. Yeah.
I knew it. Boone's Farm, yeah.
Jägermeister.
Okay.
Definitely had my fair share of Sparks, which is orange flavored. Felt like drinking canned champagne.
Okay.
Coconut or pineapple cooler. I don't know what that brand is.
He's had all
Country
of those?
Cooler. Zima. No, this is an Instagram post.
Okay, got it.
Well, actually, Matt said he did have most of these. And then something special brew. So yeah, he sent that and I said, I guess I'm just a little bit bougier because really the only thing I've had on there is Goldschlager and Jägermeister. I did try a Zima once, but other stuff, I had no idea. I've never heard it before. Well, Boone's Farm I've heard of, but I've never had. Yeah. Yeah. I was, even when I was young and stupid, I was still drinking higher in liquor, I guess.
Yeah. Well, good for you. That explains a lot, actually. When Lisa's cousin had his 50th birthday several years back, we brought him like a case, like a liquor case of different things. So there's a nice vodka and a nice champagne and some middle of the road stuff and some MD 2020 or whatever it's called. Oh,
geez.
And it is terrible. I had never had it before. It's just ick.
Really?
But so we ended up sitting around a table, I don't know, 10 of us, taking a swig of the MD and passing it to the next person.
Oh, no.
It took like an hour and a half because nobody took any. They just kept passing it.
Well, I guess we'll just save the rest of this for later.
Yeah, everybody was a little bit smoked at that point, and that was because otherwise, I mean, you don't see that very often, like at a bridal shower.
Right.
It was not good, and I clearly was not enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, not to get too serious about it because we're having a fun conversation, but
yes,
a lot of that stuff is very, very sweet, which is why younger people drink it. And I have a problem with sweet drinks because it gives me a really bad stomach ache. Let's put it that way. I have like apple cider. I know that's not liquor, but apple cider is probably my favorite beverage in the entire world. I love a really good fresh apple cider.
Yep.
But if I take a sip of it, I'm on the floor in a ball, sweating and in pain for 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's some sort of allergy I have. And it's never been identified. Don't know what it is because it would happen. Apple cider is the worst.
Yeah.
Lemonade without sugar. I know that's gross. It's just lemon water at that point. But lemonade without sugar doesn't bother me. But the minute you add sugar, it bothers me.
Really?
But I could sit there and take spoonfuls of sugar just back to back and never have a problem. I know. It's weird. It's so weird. I don't know if there's a chemical. Jack and Coke. I can't drink Jack and Coke. I can drink Jack Daniels and I can drink Coke. But the minute Jack and Coke is together, it gives me one of those stomach aches. Yeah, it's so weird. It's weird.
I mean, I don't know if it's weird or not, but it's just interesting.
I do think it's the Coke that does it because if I slammed a Coca-Cola, folks, if I slammed a Coca-Cola, I would get a stomach ache, but not nearly as bad as the two put together.
Okay, that is unusual.
Yeah, it is very unusual.
So have you tried like apple cider and rum or?
I have. Oh yeah. And I get an instant stomach ache.
Okay. So anything with apple cider, you can't separate them.
We'll do it. If rum with anything will give me a stomach ache.
Okay, so forget rum. I'm not sure that's a good mixer with apple cider anyway.
Rum by itself is fine. Like I can take a shot of rum, not have a problem.
Okay, brandy apple cider, maybe that would be good.
Maybe. Okay, I should try that. No, it would give me a stomach ache. Yeah.
And it really is that bad.
It's that bad
of a stomach ache.
It doesn't last very long. Like it's an intense pain.
Yeah,
but it only lasts. I say 20 minutes. It's probably more like 10. and I will be sweating bullets and everything. I mean, nothing else happens. It's just the stomach ache and the sweat.
Okay, and then it just goes away, it subsides.
It goes away as fast as it comes.
And then
as fast as it
you
hits.
take another sip after that?
I used to when I was a kid. Now I just stay away from it.
Geez. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, I love apple cider. How do you know? Because one time, 10 years ago, I had a thimbleful and it was delicious right before I keeled over.
That's accurate.
Wow.
But I still drink it. But I'll do it. I'll do it in sips. Like I'll take a little sip just to get it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like a little sip won't bother me.
Okay.
It's when I have, 2 or 3 ounces.
Okay.
So a little sip. I mean, apple cider, I go through things. I eat fast. I drink things fast.
Yeah.
That's just the way I am. I mean, we've been on the air now for 24 minutes and I've already finished this whole huge cup of coffee. I just drink things really, really fast.
Okay.
Apple cider will last hours. If I had an 8-ounce cup of apple cider, it'll last an hour. Yeah. But I'll still drink every last drop because I love the taste of it.
You're drinking at about the same speed that I intake Listerine.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a little mouthwash.
Just a touch.
And then spit it out like the wine tasters do sometimes.
Yeah, I could do that.
You've seen that?
Actually might be smart, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, I could get the taste in my mouth and then I never have to worry about the stomach ache.
You're welcome. The doctor is
genius. You're a freaking genius. I saw something today. And I know this is against because it was someone who's on the other side of politics that posted it, but it was some rednecks that were yelling at a reporter saying Donald Trump is a genius. Donald Trump is a freaking genius. Donald J. Trump. The J stands for genius.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
I think Trump would laugh at that.
I think he would. Speaking of,
yes.
I was watching on YouTube. I'm trying to think of the commentator. It was a commentator who was commenting on another commentator. It was a commentator commenting on, what is his name? A famous comedian, has had a show for a very long time, always ultra liberal, but in the past few years has gone a little bit more common sense.
Oh, Bill Maher?
Bill Maher, thank you.
Sure.
Bill Maher had dinner with Trump.
Yep.
And his commentary afterwards, I don't know if you saw it, but it was interesting because he's like, I don't know where that man is. When I see him on television, I'm like, I don't know where that man is. He was gracious. He laughed at himself. All that stuff. I mean, I would recommend if you get a chance to go see Bill Maher's response to it. I thought it was, I'm consistently more and more impressed with Bill Maher. I don't agree with everything, but I don't agree with anyone's everything. But, I'm impressed with some of the folks out there who are willing to set their politics aside to listen to other people.
It's sure taken him a long time, though.
It has. Well, it's taken a lot of people a long time.
Sure. But and I think what it uncovers is an irrational hatred of Donald Trump.
Well, an irrational hatred of the opposite political view.
No. It's Donald Trump.
I understand.
Don't conflate the two because it really is Donald Trump.
Well,
they hate Donald Trump.
They do.
It's not that they hate conservatives. They might, but that's an offshoot. They hate anything, and you see this very clearly. Anything that the left, let's say, reacts to is almost always something Trump has done. It's not that they're anti-common sense, although you would think so sometimes. They are anti-Donald Trump. Anything Trump, he lives rent-free in so many leftists' heads. It's just incredible. And it's like anything. It can be, he can hit a golf shot and they'll say, oh, he hooked it and I knew he would go to the right, whatever. It's just anything he does, that's what they're anti automatically.
Yeah.
And that's the problematic piece. Greg Gutfeld said it beautifully that they have done a lot of things since Trump's been in office in 100 days that are common sense things most people would think. And you can see by the polls. it's like a 70th percentile of people agree with the stuff they're doing, including, but not limited to, closing the border. And so if you're against that, you're against common sense stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really tough to have a platform where all you say is what you're against that makes sense. So what's your plan? And let's hear the rest of it. I don't want to get on a political ramble, but I think it's smart of guys like Bill Maher, who is more of a common sense, down to earth guy than a rabid Trump hater.
Yeah.
Although that probably wasn't
even though he was
a year or two ago.
He was, and
it was not
and some of it still is. See, he still is. I mean, he went in there with a certain.
I wouldn't say today. He does not hate Donald Trump. No.
But he still definitely disagrees with a lot of things. Still,
I get it, but he also agrees with a lot of things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Who was it? It was Kid Rock. That
was who was with
drew
them
together. Well, he drew them together apparently, and so anyway, I think it's a cool lesson for everybody, right and left.
I agree.
You know what?
My point to the whole,
can come
bringing the
together.
whole thing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's no reason we don't come together, and then it turns racial, and then it's just so sad.
It's so stupid.
The unity part really has to come through, and that's for both sides.
Yeah, exactly. Where do you go from there, John?
You don't. We could go on to our next one. We could can this one.
Oh, you want to can?
Well,
let's talk about canning.
Wow. Did you hear the PoddiMouths canning episode? It was to die for.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think we have plenty to keep going on this one. I mean, we've got plenty of time, but let's keep going. Well,
I wasn't worried about the time.
Even if the first part doesn't work,
Okay.
But let's talk about canning.
Like we don't know where we're going.
This isn't necessarily canning, but
it's caning.
Caning. Well, that's a completely different.
Sure it is.
That's going way off the reservation.
Yes.
But speaking of reservations, no. Yes. So have we talked about? I know we've talked about healthy food. We've talked about shelf stable food. But have you ever thought? And I know, don't you have a dehydrator?
I used to. We don't.
Used to.
I'm thinking. Went to a garage sale.
Okay. I'm thinking about getting one at some point because I would like to, for certain things, I would like to learn how to do. I would really like a freeze dryer. I don't know; those are expensive though.
Okay.
And start preserving food that way because I don't think canning for me. I've tried the canning thing, and not that it's never worked. It worked really well, but the amount of effort that goes into that is incredible.
Yeah, it really
is. Almost. I would say it almost turns out in the end to be as expensive, if not more expensive, than just going to the store and buying it.
I would say it's at least as, and you'll hear arguments.
Well,
people will say, "Oh, yeah, exactly, it's all that." But there are a lot of canned goods these days, organic or whatever moniker they give them, that are actually very low in the processed stuff.
Yeah.
And so they can be. That's the beauty of canning, frankly. When you canned beans or corn or veggies especially, they have a long shelf life.
Yeah, and there are some, at least around here. I don't know about down by you or anywhere else in the country that people are listening, but some of the farm stands that are here in the Nashville area, all of them are very good, but some of them actually have canned goods from their own. Yeah,
nice.
And they'll sell them. I mean, those are a little bit more expensive, but I mean, it's again, time is money, especially when you're busy.
Yep.
So it's not a bad alternative. And I've done that. I've purchased some things that way. But yeah, I would like to get, because we want, obviously we try to eat healthier. We try to eat more organic type of things. But I did see an interesting post on Instagram because I follow some of these healthy guru folks. And one of the posts that I saw, it split. It said, okay, organic is always better. And that's the type of food that you should focus on, especially if it's truly organic, because you never really know. But organic food is better. But if to save money, especially when everyone is very price conscious, look for those vegetables that you don't peel. So your blueberries, your strawberries, things that you can just wash and pop in your mouth, right?
Yep.
Those are the items that you want to make sure are all organic.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that too.
If you get things that you peel, like oranges or avocados, or it's less important that they're organic necessarily, because you get to peel off all of the skin, which is where all the pesticides are and things like that. So if you're price conscious, and it only boils down to price consciousness. If you're price conscious, that's the right way to do it. And it shouldn't be as bad for you as if you're just getting everything from a farm that uses a lot of pesticides. So,
yeah, heard that too.
Yep. So that's, but getting past that, I think we're getting the CSA again. I know we used to talk about that all the time on the podcast. We took a couple of years off. We actually invested. So we pick the first box up next weekend, I believe.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. So we get some really good vegetables from this particular farm stand. I'm also looking into buying half a cow.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do that until after we sell this house and move into a new house, because I will have to get a chest freezer to be able to do that, or another freezer to be able to store all of that, because half a cow is a lot.
It is a lot.
But I priced everything out, and this particular place for a half a cow and what you get is so much cheaper than just buying hamburger or steak, or, just to equal that amount of meat.
Yeah. I've considered it before, and my buddy Matt has done that more than once. It depends on your freezer life. That's one thing, how fast you're going to eat it, and all of that. Since it's just the two of us here, it's not worth it. Now we have at any given time at least 4 or 5 pounds of the grass-fed ground beef in the freezer. But that's plenty. I mean, we don't live far from a grocery store. If suddenly it becomes unavailable, okay, well, I guess we'll go to something else then. But it can save you some money, but you got to utilize it. And sadly, after 6 months or so, it just doesn't freeze as well or stay as good.
Also, with this particular the farm that I've kind of settled on, they also have a quarter of a cow.
Okay.
So you can, instead of buying the half cow, you buy a quarter. It's less meat, and it's probably better. Actually, the more I think about it, the more the quarter cow is probably better for my family.
Well, quarter horses are definitely better. Yeah.
A
not
little
for
chewy,
eating, but
anyway, so that's an option. And part of that too, though, you said go to the store, and the store is great, but again, when you're trying to save money, to go to a store where you're going to get the high quality grass-fed, grass-finished.
Aldi has grass-fed,
but not grass-finished.
Whatever. This is honestly grass-finished is what's the difference? What is grass-finished?
The difference is grass-fed means they do lead a good life, but then when they take it to market to sell the cows are put in the same feedlots as all of the other cows, and then they're grain finished, and it just doesn't. It's supposed to not lead the cows go from being very healthy and very good to not as good and not as healthy.
I don't know if that's the case with this particular ground beef. I know Bobby Parrish recommends it. It's Bobby approved.
Bobby approved. Anything that's Bobby approved. That man confuses me so much.
Why?
Just looking at his mannerisms and
oh my gosh! I saw a quick a YouTube short yesterday with his daughter cooking. She's like 3 years old, if that, and she's cooking in the kitchen, and she is the cutest thing. He's in the background helping. Oh my gosh, what a sweetie! But so he lives it out, which is good to see.
Yes.
All the stuff.
I try to catch all of his Costco stuff. I think his Costco stuff is great.
There's a Costco near us, near enough to drive. It's not that bad, but honestly, we got the Sam's Club membership for this year for $14.
Oh, nice.
For the year. Well, and they also have the grass-fed stuff. It's roughly the same price as at Aldi. But I'll tell you what, we've been going to a meat market here that's delightful. It's a great place. It's nice people. But we got some fillets at Sam's, and they are delicious.
Are they?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They
I think
are
Sam's and
that
Costco, both,
quality.
they always have really good
I don't
meat.
disagree. Costco is much the same, but
Yeah.
the quality is really good. So I'm grateful
Yeah.
for that, because it probably saved us, a third again.
So speaking of,
on
I
the
went
meat.
to a client, a client dinner. It's
Mhm.
very odd because as you know, we've been on the vendor side for so long, and I've switched over to the other side.
You have.
And I'm it's very interesting being the client.
Yes,
Let's
it
put it that way.
is.
So we actually went out to dinner with a vendor, and we went to a steakhouse, and I
Schmoozed.
had
You mean getting schmoozed?
getting
Is that what you
schmoozed.
mean?
Yep.
Yes.
I got the elk,
Okay.
and it was. I've had elk before, and I've always loved elk, but this one was especially phenomenal. It was so
Nice.
good. But we had a smorgasbord of meat, so we had like that tomahawk, and it was all in the middle of the table, so everyone was, you had the meat sweats. Tomahawk steak, the beef bouillon, something like it was a French cut,
Okay.
and T-bones, and it was so good. It was so good. When
Nice.
when meat is done well and done right, it
correctly,
is so
Yep.
good. But it always makes it hard. And I know you have a different experience because your wife is phenomenal at cooking steak.
She is.
But I honestly never can cook the same steak at home, even if it's the same cut, even if it's the same brand. It's just never as good as when you eat it at a steakhouse.
Well, there's an argument for that. You're right, and it's tough to separate how good it is with the ambiance of the restaurant and the friends you're with and stuff like that.
It's definitely part of it.
Absolutely part of it. And I do not have any problem with hanging with my wife for a nice steak dinner, but we have, and it's a blah, 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 blah.
Can you
Can't
see
think
that?
of his name, doesn't matter. Oh yeah, that's the tomahawk.
Yep.
Very cool.
With a flamethrower being finished
funny.
at the table. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Sorry, go on.
No. I was just going to say we found a technique, and I'm a big fan of filet. I like ribeyes now and then, and T-bones. They're fine and a little less expensive than fillets, but a filet will tell me if you know what you're doing when you make a steak.
Yeah. Yes.
It will also tell me if it's a high quality steak. The first bite has some sort of a connective tissue, I'm out. That is not a quality filet, if you ask me. So anyway, but we've learned a method of cooking. Gordon Ramsay taught it on one of his channels, and it is amazing. It's just a reverse sear, and you have to have the rest time, and it is so consistent. And Lisa uses her meat thermometer to a precise temperature, and it works beautifully, and does every every stinking time.
That's awesome.
As long as you have,
she's going to have to teach me, because I want to learn how to make them really good at home, because I don't feel like I ever do.
The problem is, and the whole consistency part is, if they're a different size. You go to Ruth's Chris sometimes, like we have in the past, or some other high-end, and you've seen steaks 2-3 inches thick, if not more, a filet especially, and you go, what the hell? How do they cook that?
Yeah.
So a 12-ounce filet cooks completely differently depending upon how thick it is, from an 8-ounce or a 6-ounce or whatever. So that's the other thing that you have to, you really have to pay attention to, and so the temperature really helps with that. It's a guessing game, though, as to how thick and how long.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Sorry. No, Jen and Peyton just got home, so she's like, we're home, and I don't know if you guys all can hear it, but I can hear them downstairs. And I'm like, I know, I can hear that.
So you're saying, I hear you downstairs. Shush.
Exactly. Yeah. Not that mean. I'm not that mean. I'm just like,
no, you're not.
Could you please possibly, if it's okay, be quiet?
I've missed you.
Yeah. They've been gone for a couple hours, so it's not really a miss thing, but I do think that's probably a good time to wrap it up, because I do see on our clock it's 43 minutes on this fourth or fifth go round.
Yes.
So we'll I'll see if you guys only get 43 minutes of podcast, or if you get more like 50.
He'll adjust
when I edit it. But exactly. So, but it's been great talking to all of you anyways.
Always great to have our listeners and viewers.
John had a new hat on today, and I have no hat on today.
It's not really new. It's it's been around, but
new to the podcast.
Maybe. I mean,
I don't
years
remember
ago I might have.
Maybe. I mean, we have been on the air for over 7 years. So.
I know. It's not like you remember what happened 2 weeks ago. I don't remember.
Exactly. Well, this is one of the very rare times I'm not wearing a hat.
I know.
That's because I've said I only have one hat that's available because the others have been boxed up and put in storage.
Yes.
So I only have one hat, but at the beginning when I told you Jen took the Jeep, well, the hat's in the Jeep. Yeah. So, oh well.
That's awesome. It's nice to let us know that you still have
nothing on the top of my head.
Clean-shaven noggin.
Right.
It's very attractive.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course.
All right, folks. Well, head up to PoddiMouths.com. Check out all of our merch. Check out some of our partners, including the Motorhead Chef. He got linked up there, and see what John's up to lately. It's been wonderful talking to you and sharing our stories, and John, hearing about your experiences and your political platform.
And yours. It was just a little. I know we don't do a lot of that, but you know what? It's the unity piece that we've got to talk about it occasionally. Otherwise,
absolutely,
the ignorance becomes
100% on board for unity.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of that shit in a different day. I hope you all have less shit and a different day coming up soon. Folks, it's been great talking with you. We'll see you next week.